News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Get the forecast online anytime at kpel965.com. Also, click on the Cash Cow. Your chance to win up to $5,000 3 times a day right here on the show. We're joined in studio by Mr. Terry Huval, the man of the week, it seems like, all over the place. Did you realize this is what was going to happen when you made your announcement?
Well, I figured somebody would notice something.
It's a little bit like going to your own funeral, when especially when we know we're going to have you for a while. You announced your intention to retire sometime at the end of the year. There's not a set date yet. But, of course, there is almost immediate questions. Okay, we're going to miss him. It's so great. He's done such an awesome job. Who's next and what's next for LUS Fiber? I don't expect you to answer both of those questions. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I certainly think that our organization is got a strong inertia. I've been there for a long time. I've tried to bring in some good people who are ready to handle major issues like this. They've been all around me. They've seen what my style is. I don't expect anybody to mimic that. But I do think that there's I've always got to have my staff prepared in case something would happen. I mean, it's part of my job in my position. So, we're ready for that. But, it's going to be up to the mayor to make the decision as to, who he puts in the position. I'm not sure what that's going to be. It's way too early to know what that is. But I think that in the meantime, things ought to continue running just fine.
So 23 about years ago.
Yeah, that's right. But by the time I end, this will be 24 years.
We did not have anything as far as the infrastructure that we have now with LUS Fiber. State of the art, not just in our state, not just in our country, but people recognize Lafayette, Louisiana, all over the world for their fiber. What an accomplishment.
Well, it was an accomplishment with a lot of people behind me.
Yeah.
I was the one kind of taking the spears from the front, but there was a lot of people that were behind there trying to, make all of this happen, from the envisioning of how we did it to implementing the system to getting customers to buy service from it. I mean, it's a very competitive business with a lot of restrictions because of the laws that we have to follow in this state. And so certainly something we're very proud of. But, beyond that point, and look, while fiber is important, and I do recognize that that's been, a really hallmark of my time there, what people sometimes don't realize when we look at the electric system, when the lights are out, you know what that feels like,
Yes.
And one of the things that we really pushed on, and it's not very sexy, it's not very glamorous, was that, how do you make reliability better? And each year we have gotten better and better and better to where because at least the last decade we've been the best in the state with reliability. And interestingly enough, fiber has been a reason why that's happened, because we use our fiber system with all the connectivity that we have to find out if there's a power outage taking place, that we know about it immediately. It's nice that people call.
Yeah.
We're fine with that because we're getting information as to whether there's a branch that fell or whatever. But then now we're able to get people to go out much more quickly and get to the location because they know where it's at and be able to repair it. And as a result of that, there's been huge savings. When you look at power outages, when it affects somebody at home, it's an inconvenience. Maybe more than that, depending on medical issues and so forth. I understand it's an inconvenience. But when you affect a business, that means the cash register ain't running anymore.
That's right.
And so when we can be so precise with our ability to get to where the problem is and get it back on quickly, we're saving people money. And that money, when you look at, there's some studies on how that works out, it's in the tens of millions of dollars a year that people save, the businesses generally save in the city of Lafayette because of the reliability that we have. And it's something that, like I said, it's not the thing that hits the front page headlines, but to me that was a big deal to get to that particular point. The water systems, the sewer system. When I came here, the sewer systems were all out of compliance. And it wasn't because anybody wasn't doing their job, it's because the rules had changed. And Lafayette's a flat area, and it's tough to deal with sewer, in that kind of arena. Water, we didn't have enough water capacity to handle what the future was going to look like. And so we plowed into each one of these things as we went along. Some of the things that had to do were very controversial, but for the most part, we were able to get a lot of people to join in and say, this is the right thing to do and to support us. And that's what I'm most appreciative of, whether it's the council, the mayor, and the citizens of the community. We had a lot of support you're always going to have those who are going to kind of squawk every now and then. That's the way life goes.
Sure.
We understand that. But sometimes what some of the squawking they come up with are things that we kind of reflect on, and we might not like the way that it was presented to us, but we reflect on it and say, you know what, that's maybe not a bad idea. Maybe we should take a look at it. So it's been some of those things that that we've learned from our adversaries that actually has helped us be better.
Mm-hmm. How tough is it getting for like LUS Fiber, and is it getting tougher now to offer a competitive plan? And
no, not at all. In fact, we're doing well. We're on a huge roll.
Good.
Every week, my numbers are higher than the previous week. So we don't see any dips at all, no matter what the economy has done.
Mm-hmm.
It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And the biggest challenge we have is people calling and saying, when are you going to come to my area?
I was going to say that.
And especially since we started serving outside the city, which was one of the things I had on my little checklist, before I retired. I said, I want to try and start serving outside the city and see how that goes. And we started that in December in 2 subdivisions, one in Broussard, one in Youngsville. And the take rates and the response is tremendous. It's great. And so we're looking at areas beyond that point. Another thing for the fiber side was important to me is I wanted to make sure we were making a profit. And when we have been, it's a $40 million business. We have $4 million a year business. We made $8 million of cash last year. So that's cash we can reinvest. That's why we can serve new areas outside the city. Mm-hmm. And our take rate in the areas that we serve is getting close to 45%. And that's huge for a small company like us and what we're doing. But each day it's getting better and better and better. And I think people realize, number one, it's not just the superior quality, but it's also our responsiveness. We really try and take care of our customers. And I know there's going to be somebody out there that's going to say, well, no, they didn't do this, whatever. You know what I'm going to tell you, that we really do everything we can to try to get there because, that's what makes a difference. When we look at our surveys to see why people buy our services, a big reason they buy because they hear from other people about how good it is.
Yep.
And to me, that's the best advertisement, and it's really kind of cheap advertisement, you might say, that we can get because it gets people, feeling confident that we're going to deliver.
So how does everything feed into it? Obviously, it's a utility company. So to have the best of everything, whether it is power, whether it is internet, the TV product, how does that all work together, and how do you advance or see in the future advancement of all those products together?
Yeah, I think it's already there. Our focus, my personal focus, has always been to make sure that I have done everything I possibly can to get each of those utility systems to provide the best service possible and to be responsive. And the tests for some of those things are tests that occur during extreme circumstances, like when we have a freeze.
Yes.
Okay, so how many cities around here ended up in a situation where they had to have boil water advisories? The city of Lafayette, and look, I'm going to tell you, we had a tough time, but we didn't have to do any of that kind of stuff. Our biggest challenge is that when the water lines started frosting in people's homes and outside people's homes, that you had all this spewing of water, so you had this hemorrhaging taking place. And so that was tough, but our fiber system actually helped us show here's where here's where the pressures are dropping quickly, so we could try, and we could do whatever we could to be able to do that. So for us, it's kind of like, it's a philosophy of trying to be responsive to the customers. The people of the city of Lafayette own this utility system and this fiber system. It's our job to run it like a business, but to also be thinking about what does the individual customer really want and make sure we get there with it. Wow.
Well, I think you have quite a list of accomplishments, and you do credit a lot of the people working around you to make all this happen and to be prepared for when this day comes. We'll be talking to you several more times, hopefully, in the next several months as we kind of plan for what's next because, look, you talked about momentum, and I think that is the best way to describe it. So thanks for coming by. Terry Huval, appreciate your time.